This is Alistair, who's a bit tired and is going to go take a small break. This is Marjorie, who on such a beautiful day is going to go find a nice spot to read her book. Upon going to his usual spot, Alistair encounters Marjorie in his spot, and the two enjoy some friendly banter before their sheep clothing falls off, as these two are actually what some would describe as horrible, disgusting people, or in my case, they're my people, as their ultimate goal in life is to find someone rich to do Tinder swindler their ass and leech off of them for the rest of existence. Alistair is curious as to what book Marjorie is reading that made her welcome herself in his spot once again. She says it's called How to Dispose of Your Childhood Friend, a Guide to the Perfect Crime. Wow. That's fucked up. Realizing that she's going to put him on the ID channel, he is going to have to put her there first. Hey, did you know the two people plotting against each other like spy versus spy are actually childhood friends? While these two are bonding with each other, noise can be heard from the town, and it's at night from the round table. Howard Huber, who has come here to collect the newly appointed saintess, Marjorie, on declaration of the oracle. This Marjorie, a saintess. Marjorie is not too big a fan of Alistair's enjoyment of the situation, but Alistair is not even 100% sure the fuck the Saintess is or does. Marjorie is always just so perplexed at the Neanderthal Alistair is. She explains the Saintess is a woman who is chosen by oracles to save people with their kindness and fight against the demons. Marjorie, kind. Marjorie will remember how amusing Alistair finds this whole situation. He can laugh all he wants to, as she's not touching this job with a 50,000-foot pole. But wouldn't she be able to live out her dream of being spoiled and pampered? Hell no, dumbass. She would be under the world's biggest microscope, always having to be kind, caring, and loving. And the thought of that just disgusts her down to her very core. So she's gonna go ahead and bounce before they make her have to do all that self-righteous bullshit. Alistair, seeing nothing but green grass in front of him, tells Marjorie that she should do it. Marjorie could give two fucks about what he has to say, as Alistair says, but dear Saintess, what about all those people that need you? Marjorie vehemently refuses, as she does not want to be no Saintess. Alistair is dragging one defender with him as he's at the 50, the 40, the 30. He seems to be laughing as he's dragging this poor defender with him. He's at the 20. The defender is trying her damnedest to bring down Alistair, but he's still at the 10. And the knight seems to be getting rather impatient with the villagers wondering where she is, when then touchdown Alistair, as here he is with the new Saintess Marjorie, who currently hates everything, as she puts on her puppy dog eyes and puts on her greatest Oscar-worthy performance of her life to not win this award, but with her co-star doing everything in his God-given acting ability to make sure she gets this goddamn award. The knight then explains to her that if she's not the real Saintess or refuses the award, she'll be stoned and burned at the stake. Marjorie says good thing she really loves awards. Realizing that the roof is closing in on her, her back's against the wall, they got the fucking drop on her, she must change her tactics to if she's going down, so the fuck is Alistair. After some external fraudulent pleading and some internal taunting, insults, and threats between the two, she manages to back Alistair into a corner to where he has to go to the capital with her to protect his counterfeit image. Now that the capital Alistair is taking in the capital, while on the other hand, Marjorie's brain blasting how she can possibly drag Alistair all the way down with her. After seeing Marjorie's face, Alistair realizes that's his cue to fucking leave pronto. The knight says how that's too bad. Marjorie, who at this point in time is just letting out copious amounts of pure hating ass energy, as she's not going to let Alistair go that easy. But with his spider senses going off the charts, Alistair proceeds to speak some pure, refined cap about how he's going to work even harder, even though he actively only skips out on work. As Alistair looks over to Marjorie and asks her not to be so selfish and to think about him and the children, Marjorie's internal dialogue goes a little something like this. Children? What fucking children are you referring to, you piece of shit? So after managing to somehow slick talk himself out of this situation, he leaves the capital. But he decided to walk back on foot. Holy shit, Marjorie, he might actually be a Neanderthal, which is why he gets attacked by some Smurfs. While running away, asking the Smurfs to kindly and sincerely fuck off. And while thinking some more and complete BS, Alistair, like a character in a horror movie, trips over a tree root and falls over some bushes, and has the nerve to get mad at the tree for just vibing, and the Smurfs have lost sight of him. Just like that. Guess they didn't get that new patch yet. Alistair, in need of a medkit, stumbles, bumbles, and mumbles, then he sees it. Durandal, the equipped spell used to grab any fire warrior monster from deck to hand, and after bathing in the sword's holy glow, it makes Alistair nauseous, and after mocking the sword, it for some reason calls out to him. This fills Alistair with pure contempt, as he knows this smells like a pain in the ass. And as he tries to leave, the sword says it has that medkit he was looking for. Begrudgingly, Alistair goes over to the sword, who's been desperate to talk to anybody, but Alistair does not care. Where is the medkit? And during negotiations, the Smurfs somehow found them. And what's this? There seems to be only one weapon around. Alistair then realizes he's been set up, but with no other options, he pulls the sword out. Back at the capital, where Marjorie is contemplating mass Alistair's side, she manages to gaslight the knight into thinking that she's worried about Alistair going back alone. So she convinces him that they should go make sure he's safe. After grabbing the sword, it starts yelling and groaning. Alistair's wondering if this thing comes with a mute button. And after all that's said and done, the sword is now all black and is fucking pissed off at Alistair, wondering how in the fuck is he so corrupt that just by merely holding it, he corrupted it. And what's even worse for them is that now they're contracted with each other, so it can hear all of Alistair's real thoughts. So that's terrible for all parties. And so after having a little bit of a powwow filled with threats and pleading, there's still some little Smurfs that need to be defeated. But the sword is like, I hope you fucking die for what you've done to me. And Alistair's like, that's not the deal they made. And the sword's like, I don't remember me being corrupted being part of the deal either, dick, but here we are. Alistair tells the sword that it would also be in danger, and the sword's like, would I? Last time I checked, monsters can't use holy weaponry. And Alistair's like, the fuck that got to do with the you right now? The sword's offended and tries to show off its holy power. The holy power never did show up. The Smurfs, onlooking as the two have a domestic, but refusing to die like this, Alistair tries one last trick and lifts up the sword and calls out the sword's name. The sword's like, the fuck did you just call me? As the sword gets filled up with dark, powerful mana, it releases a large black beam. Back to Marjorie and the knight, who are still searching for Alistair, when they see said dark, baleful, eerie beam that gives the knight a dark feeling while making Marjorie feel all cozy and stuff. But that mana feels familiar, like it's filled with irredeemable trash. That's fucking Alistair. Back to the sword, who's having more of an identity crisis than Drake, and proceeds to take out its wrath on the Smurfs for introducing the two of them, as the sword evicts the life from everything within a mile radius. And then as the two have another quarrel because the ex-holy sword wants to save the world, and Alistair says he ain't being no hero, that's a sucker-ass job, and he knows it. But because of their fighting, Alistair didn't notice his devil disguised as a saintess approaching, who's just so happy to see her ever so dear childhood friend. And that was Fake Holy Sword Story. I was taken along when I sold out my childhood friend, the Saint, or its Japanese title,
偽聖剣物語幼馴染の聖女を撃ったら道連れにされた。
Well, at least the first chapter anyways. Fake Holy Sword Story is brought to you by this week's poll, where comedy managed to get the victory. Anyways, I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, like, subscribe, ring that bell. That's all I got. I am gone. Peace.